John Kane here for Let's Talk Native TV. So, Monday the 9th is a holiday for some. The federal holiday is Columbus Day, but many states, towns, and cities have changed it to Indigenous Peoples Day. For kids, it's a day off from school, the first 3-day weekend of the year for most. But much of the country will take the day off as well. All state and federal employees are off, banks will be closed, mail won't run, and millions of dollars worth of productivity will be lost. But hey, it's a holiday. All primarily for a fake hero or an attempt at correcting the false narrative of Christopher Columbus. Look, it'll be just another Monday to me. But for those of you caught up in the debate, let me weigh in with some real facts. Columbus was not a brave explorer. Columbus did not discover America. He did not prove the world was round. No, that is not for you flat earthers either. He never reached North America, nor reached any land that the U.S. claims. He sailed for money. He actually defied conventional wisdom of the time, believing he could shorten the trade route to India by sailing west. He was wrong. He was actually closer to India before he ever even set sail. He was neither a skilled navigator nor very good at math. He miscalculated the trip to India by the entire Western Hemisphere, including 2 continents and 1.5 oceans. He actually died still believing or insisting that he had reached islands near India. And yes, that is why people insist on calling native people from this continent Indians still today. His mission failed. So much so that he resorted to crimes against humanity to bring worth to his discovery. He committed such atrocities against people, he discovered that he would ultimately wipe out their entire population of more than 250,000 people and start the largest period of genocide the world would ever see. And much of it sanctioned by the Catholic Church, through the Vatican, and the doctrine of Christian discovery. Columbus took slaves, including sex slaves, child sex slaves. He took those slaves back to Europe and enslaved them in their own homelands. He dismembered and disfigured the indigenous people for not producing wealth for him. He hung, burned, and savagely butchered the people. He fed native babies to his dogs. We know all this because he kept journals, as did the church folks who witnessed these acts. Columbus was born in Genoa, not southern Italy where most Italian Americans claim their ancestry. The hero worship that Italian Americans have heaped on him is displaced and based on false info. He sailed for Spain, not Italy. He did not create an Italian imprint on America. Again, he never reached any part of the continent that would ultimately be claimed by the U.S. Their narrative of Columbus as a brave explorer and discoverer of new lands was created long after his death. Now his statues adorn parks and plazas, town squares and schoolyards, universities and government spaces. Cities, counties, streets, universities, and of course, a national holiday complete with parades and festivities all bear his name. There is an effort to remove these statues, to change the holiday, and more importantly, tell the truth. I have heard some people say, leave the statues, but let's tell the truth. But would anyone want those statues if the truth were common knowledge? I don't know what the answer is, but it must be clear that any movement against Columbus or Columbus Day is not about Italians or Italian Americans. While the Catholic Church and the Anglican churches deserve criticism for the atrocities that would be committed as a part of colonialism, no one represents the face of those atrocities more than Christopher Columbus. And to those Italian Americans who worship him, cling to the holiday in his name, I ask, why this guy? World history is filled with great men of Italian ancestry whose accomplishments do not include rape, murder, greed, and genocide. Galileo, Da Vinci, Michelangelo. As for navigators who would have real greater impact as explorers, I suggest Amerigo Vespucci. Hell, the entire land base of the Western Hemisphere would bear his name, and no rape and murder was associated with him. As far as North America is concerned, as a land colonized by Great Britain, and what would ultimately become predominantly English-speaking people, it would be John Cabot sailing for the King of England that would sail the coast of North America, mapping and documenting the route. He would be the first white man since the Vikings to reach our lands. Oh, and John Cabot, he was Italian. His real name was Giovanni Caboto. Oh yeah, and no rape and murder directly associated with this guy either. Hey look, I'm not crazy about any of this celebration of white people discovering us, nor the colonization, slavery, land theft, and genocide that would follow. But celebrating, as I said, this face of genocide is something we will always object to. So on that second Monday of each October, don't wish me Happy Columbus Day. If you celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, I appreciate the sentiment. If you are Italian, choose your heroes based on true accomplishments rather than the myth of false storytelling. Thank you.